Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tina from Comox Strathcona Waste Management, and I have the great pleasure of being with Megan McDonald from Salt Legacy today to ask her some questions about circular economy and your business. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Salt Legacy, tell us how you started it and how does this concept fit into circular economy?
Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks for having me. And initially, I started Salt Legacy with the concept of connection to nature, particularly our marine environment. And I had the pleasure of working around the globe in my previous professions as a marine biologist and really seeing the effects that pollution and waste, and particularly plastics and marine debris, are having on these precious ecosystems. And so that inspired me to start a business that I could also have education and awareness around what is happening, but also combat that with trying to use a material, in my case, sailcloth from sailboats, and think of it in a different way and opposed to taking it to the landfill at its end of life, reusing it, or in my case, upcycling it and creating a new product that will live a whole other lifetime because it is such a durable material. So that's how I incorporated circular economy and closing that loop into my business, Salt Legacy.
Okay, do you want to hold up one of your bags and show us so we know what you're
You
talking about
bet.
here?
Uh,
Well, okay.
so yeah, so we have quite a few different types of bags. This is a crossbody bag and it's made from racing sails. So we use all sorts of different textures, even lightweight sails like spinnaker or kiteboard kite. And every single one is unique. For instance, this one's carbon fiber racing sail. That's the carbon fibers laminated together. So that is super, super strong, durable. And we use the original elements like grommets and sail numbers and all of those fun elements to make it a one-of-a-kind piece.
Okay, so every
Um,
piece is different.
Every piece is different, and our kind of fun part about our products is we keep the story of that original sale, and we put
Okay.
it inside each bag. So you get the name of the boat, where it sailed, even the skipper's last name in there to have that
Wow.
connection piece.
Okay, amazing. Um, can you explain what circular economy then means to you and how it differs from the traditional linear economy? So if I was like going to buy just any old bag at the mall from any old store and how that might be different from what you are doing and kind of what that means to you, you've kind of spoken to a little bit, but how is it different than the traditional linear economy?
So really the linear economy is a pretty straightforward way of thinking that you're taking some sort of material and you're using it in one particular purpose and then it's discarded. And so really with the circular economy, it's coming up with really innovative ways to close that loop. And it's really great that there are so many examples now and it's becoming more of a term that individuals are more familiar with. But yeah, with our products in particular, it was really thinking, how can I turn this waste into a resource and having a connection piece along the way.
Okay. Um, I love what you do, and you know I've followed you for quite a while now because I keep talking about it. But are there any challenges that you faced in adopting circular economy practices? And maybe talk about how you've overcome them because it seems like it really is outside of the model we've been following for quite a while now in our culture, which is like take things out of the ground, make things, and then dispose of them. So, were there challenges in creating a business with this new circular model?
Definitely. So I think one of the biggest challenges is once we receive the sales, they've already had a life. Sometimes they've, already been on the water for 30 plus years. And so I think a big challenge is repurposing. So getting them back to a state where you can create something. So in my case, it's cleaning them. They already have had a full life. So it is hard to clean them. And sometimes it's difficult to, tell people, okay, this is an upcycled item, and they're already looking at it from a different lens that, ooh, it won't last that long because it's already lived a whole life. So reframing and really educating and being transparent on the structural integrity of these materials, and looking at them, getting people to feel them. And a lot of times when someone picks up one of my products, they're like, whoa, they're shocked that it is that strong, it's that durable, it's that thick. So then just reimagining all of this sailcloth that's even behind me in my shelves, that all would have gone to a landfill. So again, I think it's a lot about education and just reframing these textiles, that they can be used in another way. And so I think that was initially a really big challenge as well.
Right. And how do you, what role do you think young people can play in advancing circular economy? Like, as we change our minds about this, that we realize, holy cow, the way that we're buying things, the way that things are made, these are problematic from a resource extraction lens. We're taking too much from the earth. And also from this disposal lens, the landfill's filling up far too quickly, which costs money and has environmental impacts. So, what role do you think that young people can play in kind of advancing circular economy?
I think young people are in a really good position, because you are so innovative. There's new ideas, there's new technology changing around, and new platforms to really use your voice on these key points. So I feel like young people, again, are in a really good position to create change and voice what matters to them the most right now.
I think they are too, and I meet a lot of passionate students. Um, can you describe any partnerships or collaborations that you've had to come up with to kind of work with other businesses, work together in community to kind of push all of this forward, this education piece that you're talking about?
Yeah, I've been lucky the last few years to collaborate with some really great organizations and businesses in the sustainability world. The more recent, just this past summer, I did have BC Ferries approach me, and they're really taking a huge step to have Canadian made products on board their vessels. I also have a huge passion to collaborate with conservation initiatives locally. With my background being in marine biology, I do have a really soft spot and passion for marine mammals in our oceans, like whales and porpoises and dolphins. And so I have been lucky to collaborate with organizations like Oceans Weeks Canada. Every single year, we make bags to promote fundraising events so we can support them in raising education and awareness and creating community events for that whole week. Yeah, local yacht clubs I've been able to be a part of as well. So that sailing community really is passionate about, of course, the marine environment that they spend a lot of time in as well. And yeah, that's like one thing I'm going to be concentrating a lot of my focus on is creating these collaborations and growing the community around all of this too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love, I can just see sort of a web of people and places where the boats have been and artifacts and objects. It's really gorgeous what you've created. I love it. What advice would you give to students who might be interested in starting their own sustainable business someday? Because it's not
Hmm.
easy to start your own business.
Definitely not. And I didn't have a background in business before starting my business. Um, what I did was, I think one of the biggest things is just saying yes to opportunities and learning as much as you possibly can. There are a lot of different platforms and resources for learning how to start a business. One great one that actually basically made me start my business was an organization here in Victoria. They're called the Synergy Foundation, and they have a business incubator directly associated with circular economy. And so I was lucky enough to pitch my business idea and get a condensed business training over 8 months, and that's what started my business. I couldn't have done it without going through that program.
Amazing.
So yeah, saying yes to things, networking, of course, getting out there, meeting people, telling your story. I think it goes a long way because you're connecting on that personal level. So I think that is some of the biggest advice I can give is just say yes and
Yeah.
go out
Yeah.
there and meet people and yeah,
Gotta
things
go for
happen.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Before we wrap it up, I'm wondering if you could tell me, looking ahead, um, what are your hopes for the future of Salt Legacy and then also the broader movement towards circular economy? Like, what are your big dreams around those things? To Salt Legacy and your business and beautiful products, on the one hand, but also just what it's a part of a this bigger circular economy conversation.
Definitely. So for Salt Legacy, I'm really hoping to see growth, but in a smaller scale where we can expand but still keep the connection, keep the story. So like my big dream is having Salt Legacy hubs around sailing destinations so we can take local sailcloth in, hire local talented sewists and designers and expand that way. And for the broader scope of circular economy, I just really hope that the term is catching on more and more organizations are trying to tailor how they can contribute to closing the loop in that particular way. And yeah, just more people being um, not looking at like look a slower fashion way opposed to fast consumerism and just learning more about all of that.
Mm. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today, and I'll be sharing this out with students across the Comox Valley and hopefully beyond. And we look forward to seeing, where your product goes. And I know that you're expanding your studio right now, so I look forward to hearing how that goes as well.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you so much.